Welcome to Romera Records podcast. Today we have on Erica Haskett. How's it going, Erica?
Going pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I've actually been pretty interested on bringing you on just because I knew who you were. Like I met you, but didn't know who you were. So
Right.
it's good to actually have people on who like I've seen them before and interacted with them before. Just because like we have experiences, like you've been to the art bazaars and I've seen you like the work that you've done. I'm subscribed to your emails and stuff like
Oh,
that.
cool.
So
Thanks.
yeah, it's nice when like I've had some interaction with people and their work because I know like I kind of know what you're up to. So
Right.
I can be curious about like, what you're doing, like where you're going from there and stuff like that. But I guess we'll start with like everything that you do. Like I know you do photos, but that's
Yep.
about it. Like, well, actually I know you paint, right?
Yep.
So which one are you really pushing the most? Or are you trying to do like a 50-50?
Trying to do 50-50.
Okay.
People always ask me that. They love to ask me which is my favorite, photography or painting. I don't have a favorite. If
Yeah.
I had a favorite, I would just be going after one of them. I love them both equally for very different reasons. So trying to do them both.
Okay. Yeah, and like I do a lot of stuff, so it gets really confusing to people for me.
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
I do photography, videography, and then I also do music, and I do like all parts of music. Like I rap and I make beats and I engineer people. So they're like, "What do you do?" But I think it's funny because like when we're kids, everybody asks you like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?"
Right.
Well, I think a better question is, what do you want to do when you grow up? Because you can do whatever you want to. Like, this is America and we
That's
have
true.
so much technology nowadays. It makes it easy to just learn whatever you want to do. So,
That's very true.
how'd you get into painting well, let's stick with one first. Like, how'd you get into painting?
So I got into painting when I was in high school. I started working at Paint a Piece in Germantown
Okay.
my junior year of high school, I think. And that was really kind of my first step into painting. It was pottery painting, which I still do just for me. And I would like to add that onto the business at some point. But, I already have too many things cooking in the fire right now.
Yeah.
So that one's going to stay on the back burner, stay as a hobby for a minute. But that is how I got started. Was I started working there, started painting pottery, and just really fell in love with painting overall, and knew that I wanted to continue learning about it and pursuing it and figure out where painting could take me.
So do you like currently live in Germantown and you like went to high school there or you've moved or
Nope, I grew up in Collierville actually, and I
Okay.
live downtown now.
Okay. See, I'm actually from, just to give you some info about me, I'm actually from Alabama and I moved
Nice.
here in 2019. So,
Cool.
like, I live in Cordova, but like, I spend most of my time obviously either here or I work in Memphis at Owens Corning. So,
Nice.
like, that Collierville, Germantown area is just like a blur to me. Like it's all just like one thing. So I'm not familiar with that area. Do you really like the area, or is it the better things are like the Memphis area or somewhere else?
I think as far as like my favorite areas of town, Collierville is not one of them.
Okay.
To be honest, it's probably just because I grew up out there, like spent all my time out there. There's not really crap to do in
Okay.
Collierville, to be honest. Everything closes at like 9. It's very, I don't know. I just feel like everything and everyone is under a microscope in Collierville. It's very much so that suburban, like, you know what your neighbors are up to. Everyone's nosy type shit. It's kind of how I felt growing up. And I was like, this is not fun, guys. Like, mind your own business. Like, why do you care what's happening? So, I don't know. I still don't really care for Collierville that much. Germantown, I actually enjoy a decent bit more. I think if I had to pick somewhere to live besides downtown, Germantown and East Memphis are probably up there for
Okay.
me. So, yeah.
And is that because of just, that aspect of, people aren't always on top of you or like trying to get in your business, or is it just because the culture, the environment, stuff like that?
I think the culture and the environment. I feel like Germantown it's the suburbs. It's similar to Collierville in that, you think of Germantown and East Memphis, you think of people that have money and all of that. And people in Collierville definitely have money, but people in Germantown and East Memphis are far less snooty, I feel like. Collierville, I don't know, they think they're the shit out in Collierville. And Germantown and East Memphis just don't give me that vibe at all. They're like, yeah, we have money, but we're just chilling. Like, you need help with something, we're going to help you with something. Like, what's going on? Let's do fundraisers. Let's hang out. Collierville is like, no, I'm not helping you do anything. Figure your own stuff out. I know everything that you're doing, and I don't agree with any of it, so I'm not supporting any of it. And you're just like, why?
Now, I was curious about that because of like, it's cool meeting creatives in their, like, I'm not going to say you're in your prime, but like when you're actually, succeeding at what you're doing, you've got stuff out, you're putting stuff out, instead of like me knowing you when you were in high school. You know what I mean? Because like people who probably knew you in high school, they're like, oh, Erica paints, oh, Erica does this, she takes photos. So it's kind of neat not knowing you from back then, because I've got no preconception of who you used to be. I just know you as now. So are people weirded out by what you do, like, or did it seem like you would always do something like that?
I don't really know. I didn't really have very many friends in high school, so don't really have much of a basis to go off of with that. I was pretty introverted. There was a lot of family drama going on in high school, so that kind of kept me in my shell a little bit more. And even in college, too, I was kind of more in my shell. It's been since I entered my 20s. I'm 25 now. So the last 5 years, I feel like I've really finally like come into myself, and it's been really fun, and it's always an adventure every day, every week, every month. I feel like I'm learning new things about myself, about what I want to do, who I am as a person, and every time I look back on anything, like anything, I could scroll through my camera roll right now and look at stuff that I was doing 2 weeks ago in Chicago and be like, I'm not even the same person anymore. What is this? Like, what is happening? So
I just had on Ben Brown the other day, and we were talking about that. He was talking about he wants to travel, and I was like, word of advice: take as many photos and videos as you can. He does photography. He works for what's the name of it? I think it's like Prince something photography or media or something like that.
Okay.
But I was just telling him, like, make sure you document everything, because you're going to look back and see, like, as you said, looking through your camera roll or whatever on your phone and just be like, oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember that. But if you don't, like, whatever's in your head is all you got. So I would definitely suggest that. As a person who does photography, do you do that? Do you document a lot of stuff, or do you just kind of, that's a nice photo, I'm going to take that photo?
I feel like I document a lot of stuff. There are 60 or 70,000 pictures on my phone.
Oh, dang.
Which is ridiculous. There's like 90, I think it's 92,000 in Lightroom.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, what you see online on my website, that's nothing. That's literally nothing. That doesn't even scratch the surface of things that I take photos and videos of and paint and all of that. It's honestly overwhelming. It overwhelms me on a daily basis that I have done so many things and have not shared that many things. I'm trying to figure out how to like come up with a better system for that, because like I was in Chicago 2 weeks ago and I was at the Art Institute for like 5 hours one day, and it literally blew my mind. And I don't even know where to begin, like how to begin to tell people about that experience, how to like show you all the art that I saw and like how it affected me, how it influenced me. I literally walked out of the Art Institute and was like, well, I'm a different person now. And like, where do I go from here? Like, I came back home and spent a day or two just kind of sitting around, like, just with tears of joy in my eyes at all the art that I just saw, like all the amazing pieces that I've always wanted to see or just, like read in textbooks when I was in college. I'm like, I saw that shit. Like it was right there. And I did the same thing in New York in October. I took myself to New York for 8 days for my 25th birthday and saw Starry Nights at the MoMA and Dali's Persistence of Time and Monet's Water Lilies. And like, they're just breathtaking and incredible. And I have no idea what to do with that information. I have no idea what to do with what I saw. Still in shock.
And that's the hard part about photography and art in general is how do you share the experience? Like it's really difficult.
Exactly. It is really difficult. And I keep thinking about like ways that I could do it. I'm like, I could make a reel and just like go through a bunch of the works that I saw and like all the pictures that I took from the works and all of that. But I'm like, I don't even know if that does it justice. Like, what am I going to do? Just be like, here, come to the Art Institute in Chicago with me for a day. Like, it's not good enough for me.
Yeah. Because like, which the crazy thing is, you're definitely overthinking it, and all people in art overthink it because like we understand the breakdown of it. We understand like every aspect of it. So it can be overwhelming to think about like, okay, I have to show somebody this photo, but they need to understand what ISO this was taken at. What was the shutter speed? Like they need to understand all this. But really the average person doesn't care. Like they just, is this a good photo? Yes or no? Like they don't really grasp the concept of how much work it took to make that a beautiful thing. So when people who are creative and they're trying to share, they just overthink the aspect of letting people know like, what this thing is. But just the simplest thing of just literally just posting the photo.
I know.
People would like it.
It's so simple, yet it's such a dang challenge all the time, especially when I go from the Art Institute to like 2 days later, I was photographing an Indian wedding. I'm like, okay, cool. The Art Institute is like already irrelevant. Now I'm having a whole cultural experience at this Indian wedding. Like, what is happening? And then 2 days later, I'm announcing pay what you can photo shoots online. I'm like, cool, I need to roll with that for a minute because like I'm trying to get people to book these. And like, the Art Institute is still just like slowly falling back, and it's just never gonna end up getting shared. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, based on the fact that I haven't told anyone anything about the MoMA or the Met in New York, I don't know if anyone's gonna ever hear about the Art Institute, but I want them to. Overthinking.
Yeah.
Overthinking. I'm a great overthinker. It gets me places sometimes, but not really.
Yeah.
And you got to work on that.
You could, share that right there, just the overthinking process. You could share like, I wanted to post this, but I was overthinking, the angles I was taking these photos and what people would think about this specific photo and why I like this piece of art and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's what you could share with people because there's a million people that are just like you. Like,
I know there are. So crazy. I really kind of just want to get back to, in a lot of ways, just the early Instagram days, just posting it. There are no captions. I tell you nothing. It's just out there.
I didn't even remember. They didn't have captions at first.
I don't know. They might have.
But I don't think it was a big deal back then. Like
it
I know
wasn't.
They tried
you would just get on Instagram and you would just post one square picture with one crappy Instagram filter, which actually they still have. They still have every last one of those Instagram filters. I was talking to my friend Erica the other day about that, just about like the original Instagram. I don't know how we got on that topic, but we were having a great text conversation about it. And I was like, I wonder if those Instagram filters are still there. And so I got on there and I started scrolling. Like I went like I was going to post a picture. And sure enough, every last one of them is there. That Nashville filter is on there.
I remember that.
Right? It was so, I was like, they still have some of the OG Instagram things on here, and nobody probably really even realizes that or knows about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the old Instagram days of just getting on there and posting one square picture with a crappy filter and then moving on with your life. I miss those days. They were so simple and fun.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy what Instagram has turned into, and then the fact that I think the CEO of Instagram basically said we're not a photo sharing app anymore. We have migrated into something else, and it's no secret that they're just trying to keep people away from TikTok with the whole Reels thing. So I don't know. Like, do you think that there's pros and cons to what Instagram has turned into?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, pros would be that, you can run a business through Instagram now. You can
Yeah.
find clients through Instagram. You can sell things through Instagram. You can build communities through Instagram. You can do a lot of things through it. But the downside of that is that we're all having to become content creators instead of artists. So it's definitely taking away from that. And I keep watching videos every time the CEO of Instagram uploads a video or whatever about like new things that are coming. They're trying to help creators. They're trying to keep it more like based on that.
Yeah.
So we'll see what ends up happening with that. Because I mean, they know who the audience is. They know what we as artists and creators want online. But of course, they're trying to keep it with the mainstream, trying to compete with TikTok
Yeah.
and Snapchat and whoever else.
The Snapchat thing was hilarious when they stole the stories.
Oh,
thing.
that was like the best day of my life. I was like, Snapchat is now completely irrelevant. I never gave a crap about Snapchat
Yeah.
to begin with. When they came out with Instagram stories, I was like, oh, good, my life is simplified. Let me just go on ahead and delete Snapchat because I didn't really like this anyway, and trying to get like very specific people to be my friends on Snapchat. I did not like that. I still don't like it.
I'm 29, but I do feel like Snapchat is for like younger people,
Yeah.
which I believe their audience grabs the younger audience. So let's see, I think I was like, I want to say I was close to 20 when it first came out. I might have been 19, I'm not sure, but when that was going on, like I used it a little bit, and then after a while, I was just like, I don't really care to be on here. Like I'm not really getting the benefit of what it can do for me. So I'm just like, I'll just pass. So my main things have been Facebook and Instagram, and I'm big into sports, and that's all I use Twitter for because like reporters are on there, so
Yeah.
they just give me updates instantly. So that's really what Twitter was meant for.
That is what Twitter was meant for. I'm like you. Facebook and Instagram are my main two. I do have a Snapchat and I do use it daily to talk to a couple people. One of them is my not blood related little sister, but little sister because her parents are kind of helicopter parents, and we can talk on Snapchat and have the chats, disappear and all of that. And her parents can't read her texts and stuff. So for that reason, I will keep Snapchat because that is very relevant. And when she got one, she was super excited. She was like, "We can actually like talk about stuff, Erica." And I was like, "Dang, I was ready to delete this app, kid." I was like, "But all right. For you, I'll keep it. Just Snapchat me when you have problems, when you have questions, when you just want to talk, and don't want your parents to maybe potentially read your text messages."
Yeah.
But other than that, I could care less about Snapchat, and I would like for it to not be on my phone, to be quite frank. But gotta keep it for the one person. It's important, it's relevant. I feel where she's coming from, so
Yeah.
I'll Snapchat her every day.
Now, the fact that you do art, you might find this a relevant one. Tumblr. Do you use that?
I actually don't, and I
Okay.
never really have.
Okay.
I feel like when I first got on Instagram is kind of when I learned about Tumblr, and I looked into it or looked at it a couple times, but just didn't really, I don't know, grasp what was going on or understand it. So I never did anything with it.
So it's basically just like Instagram, but there's more of a blog aspect to it,
Right.
which I feel like Instagram was really like a blog type thing when it was first created. But Tumblr's more of a like it's more community based. Like you'll notice that like you can repost on Tumblr. So you don't need like on Instagram, you need like a separate app. It's like repost or something kind of app to do that. But Tumblr is built in. It's kind of like Twitter. You just, retweet, with Tumblr you repost. But
Interesting.
yeah, you'll see a lot of pages reposting each other. So it's really like community based. But yeah, I mean, you post a photo, I think you can post like GIFs. I don't know if you can post. You might be able to post actual videos and stuff like that, but
probably can. If you can't post videos on Tumblr, then they're behind the times.
Yeah, they are. But yeah, I mean, it's a great tool. I mean, they use hashtags. They have a lot of stuff. The main thing I use that for is food. Like people, you can post a link, so you can. If you need to look up like recipes or stuff like that, you can type in if your favorite food is I don't know, asparagus. You can look up recipes on asparagus, and people will like post all the food they made, and then you just click the link. That's what I wish Instagram had was links, like in the caption or something like that.
Yes,
that would put Tumblr off to me.
Yeah. They definitely, there are so many features that I wish Instagram had. Links is definitely one of them. Trying to think what else I wish they had. I wish you didn't have to crop pictures. Like when you go to post super wide pictures or super long pictures, that's annoying.
Video's even worse because, I make music videos for people. I'll send them the video, like a Dropbox link. They'll download it to their phone, and when they post it on Instagram, they always post the wrong size because it's already cropped in, and they forget to widen it out. So their video looks like crap, and I'm just like, well, looks like I just did a crap job. So
right. And then, it destroys the quality. Well, Instagram doesn't destroy the quality that much. Facebook,
oh my God,
destroys everything. Yeah. I just do not understand. You can post the same picture. You can have it reshare from Instagram to Facebook. Quality, trash, garbage. It does not make sense. It looks like Facebook is 10 years behind the digital age. I just don't understand that. They really, really need to fix that.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's just because they have so much content, but YouTube is the king of content as far as like file sizes.
Yeah. So
I don't understand why Facebook can't keep up with that. I mean, the bulk of their posts are, I would just say the wordage, because you can't do that on Instagram. You can't just type words and post it. But I would bet that's the majority of what Facebook is either a picture and words, or it's just words. So it's not like they're overloaded on content. I don't know.
No. Yeah, I don't know either. It's very weird. Every time I get on Facebook, and now Facebook has Reels now too, like Instagram. And the Reels look garbage.
Really?
Yes, the quality is so terrible. It is so bad. I really do not get it. Every time I see a reel on Facebook, I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, what did you guys do when you were processing this to post it? Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know. I feel like if they weren't equipped to make the videos be high quality, then they should have held off on putting them on Facebook to begin with. But that's maybe just me coming from an artist standpoint, from a photographer standpoint, looking at it and being like, this sucks. Like, you should not do this yet if you weren't ready for it.
And I think the funny thing is the fact that Facebook owns Instagram. Like, and those two apps will have features that the other one doesn't. And it's like, the other one would be much better if you incorporated that feature. Like links. Like, you can add a link to something on Facebook, and you can't do it on Instagram.
And that, you're right, that would be so much more beneficial on Instagram than on Facebook, probably.
But they might be doing that just so you'll keep both. Like, you might have a reason to not have an Instagram if Facebook had all the features that Instagram had. And then vice versa. You might not need a Facebook if Instagram had all the features of Facebook. So they might want to keep those separate just to keep you on both platforms. So
definitely possible. I feel like they have so many of the same features, though. I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to see the differences between the two, other than on Facebook, you can write a whole ass book for a caption, and you can't do that on Instagram. And then the link sharing. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, Facebook has
Just hitting share. You can hit a share button, but like,
yeah,
you can like direct message people like sharing a post. You
yeah,
can do that, but just letting people see it on your feed, you can't do that on Instagram. So unless you
yeah.
do have that repost app or whatever.
That's true. I guess there are a lot of differences between the two. I never really thought about that.
And also just the like instead of the heart is just like a like button.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. I wonder what made them. Do you know what made them do the heart? I don't know.
I have no
I'm trying to think
idea.
about the old Instagram. I'm pretty sure it was still a heart. So I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's kind of weird that they that they
Yeah.
collaborated a heart with a like. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
it is kind of weird.
So I think originally all they had was the like and then the comment.
Yeah.
So, and could you tag people originally?
Probably not.
That's
I don't know.
interesting.
I don't think they had direct messages initially either.
No, I don't think they did.
That was a way later feature as well.
That's pretty cool that they like us being the age that we are and seeing the evolution of Instagram has been crazy. I think to me the worst thing they added, but this is just me and how I use it, is the shop. Like how you can like buy stuff on there.
Yeah.
I don't use that at all. I'm never going to. Well, never say never, but
Right.
it's just not something I find useful. If I'm going to look for stuff to buy, I'm going to go on Amazon or just go directly to the site. I'm not going to go on Instagram to buy something. So
Yeah, that's true. I never used the shop feature either. That is a bit irrelevant.
and then how they moved those key buttons to the top, like to create a post and stuff that used to be at the bottom.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And then like the shop button, I think is like the very middle, or it's like a reel or something. I think reels is the very middle button.
I think shop is the button to the left beside home, maybe.
Yeah.
Home, shop, reels, search,
Yeah.
and then your profile. I think is what it is.
But the thing is, if you're listening to this right now and you're like, what are they talking about? You might be running the old version because you can.
Yes, there are literally 9 million different versions of Instagram. I haven't been able to see likes like when I'm scrolling on my home feed for like 3 years.
What?
Yeah, and I know people that they've been able to see likes the whole time. I'm like, oh, cool. So you see that my post gets 30 likes sometimes. That's cool. That's great. Love that. I didn't know that people could still see those. Likes have been irrelevant to me for a long time.
That's crazy.
Can you still see likes?
Yeah. So do you just see a certain person like this, but it doesn't tell you the number of likes?
Right. So if I were to see your post on Instagram and like we have someone mutual that follows us, it would show me that one person. So it would say, I don't know, I'll just throw Katie out there. You know Katie, right? Katie Hoops, maybe?
I know of her, but I don't know her.
Okay, cool. So let's say we both follow her. It'll say Katie Hoops or whatever her tag is, and others liked this post. That's all it says.
And it doesn't tell you the number.
Nope. I can click on others and see who else liked it, but it still doesn't show me like, oh, 57 people liked this post. It doesn't, I see no numbers on Instagram.
I think that is a feature you can turn on and off because I have friends on Instagram that they're like that. Like when I look at their posts specifically, it doesn't tell me how many, but other posts I see, it does.
That's interesting.
So I think it's a feature you have to turn on and off.
Well, then one day Instagram just turned it on for me and I didn't know that I could ever change it.
Yeah.
There are also like different types of profiles that you can have within Instagram, right?
Correct.
There's a regular profile. I think there's a business profile and then there's a creator's profile.
Yeah.
So those three are going to have different features as well. I'm pretty sure I have a business profile. So that might make my features different from if you just have a regular like personal profile too.
Yeah.
So I should look into those settings though, because I feel like someone has told me that before, that you can turn it on and off, and I've just been like, no, you can't. Maybe you can. I don't know. I wasn't ever given the option. I just one day couldn't see likes anymore, and I was like, yeah, we're progressing. Let's take away the number metric because it doesn't matter. And then, people randomly tell me, Or I see my profile on someone else's phone, like my little sister or something, and I'm like, you can see how many likes I got? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, great, good. Glad to know that that's still out there for so many people. I thought that disappeared like years ago.
Yeah.
Literally years ago.
That's funny.
It's so weird.
So going on that concept, let's go into like the business aspect of it.
Right.
I remember when they came out and they were talking about completely getting rid of likes because they just wanted it to be like, I think it was like a self-esteem type thing. They didn't want people to have depression because they didn't get enough likes.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a comparison thing for sure.
Yeah.
I love and have loved for the past couple years that I haven't been able to see likes. I don't compare myself to anyone.
Correct.
Not on that level anyway. I'm not like, oh, my best friend posted this picture of us from Chicago and she got 100 likes and I posted it and got 50 likes. This sucks. Like, she's more popular than me, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't ever think about any of that stuff. I don't see any of the numbers, and I love that.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me that most people still see the numbers, because I remember that conversation, and then not long after that conversation, my likes went away, and I was like, this is progress. Like, this is so good that we can't see these numbers anymore.
Yeah. Well, I know, I want to say it was Nicki Minaj. She got really upset about it because, Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
But she was saying, she had a good point though. She was saying, this is a part of my business. Other like companies seeing how popular I am. And so I can benefit off of that because they can use, me as a content creator. I was like, okay, solid point.
That is a solid point.
But I still like the fact that, nobody's comparing each other. You just post and, people, I think it would be great because now you're forcing people to do either comment or share. That's your only two options.
Or save.
Yeah, or save.
Which is apparently the best thing to do now out of anything else, which I do not get at all, because I save things that I love, that inspire me, whatever else. I rarely go back and actually look at them, to be honest. So I'm not sure why that's now the highest metric to getting your post places. Like, I don't understand that, because no one ever really looks at them, and it's not like you can go on my profile and see all the things that I've saved. So how does that like promote anything, get me anywhere? I don't understand why that's the number one thing now.
Same. And, so I do a lot of saving for like fitness stuff, because if I need to go back and look at like an exercise, or I follow a lot of like therapy posts, like people who are showing you like how to massage like your arms or your back, or like a muscle that's hurting.
Right.
So those are the things that I save. I save stuff like that all the time. But again, unless I need it, I'm not going to go back and look at it, because number one, I could just go to that person's page and be like, oh, what was that post that they posted a while back? And then that's how I would do it. And then I forget that you can even save stuff sometimes. And I'm like, oh yeah, I saved that. So I just go back. But yeah, it's weird. That's their highest metric of content saving. It's weird.
Yeah. See, I save a decent number of things, and I'll go back and scroll through it every now and then. It's kind of like, taking pictures on my phone or like screenshotting stuff. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be relevant, right? It's gonna, like, I like this. I'm gonna reshare this at some point. But right now I'm talking about something else on Instagram. So let me not sidetrack it and throw in a quote over here that I just found that I really like. So let me save it and I'll share it later. And I literally never share it later. It doesn't happen. I'll go back every now and then and scroll through things that I've saved and like be re-inspired by some stuff. But ultimately, I'm like, there's just a lot of different stuff over here, and they're not sorted into categories. They were at one point, and then I just started putting everything under the inspiration folder, because I was like, truth be told, if I'm saving anything, it's because I found some inspiration in it. So I'm just gonna put it all under one thing, and now that's just a jumble of of all types of stuff.
Yeah. So for you personally, with your business and everything, do you use like Instagram as like your portfolio, or are you like, nope, everybody go to my website. My Instagram is just a thing that I do. Go to my website to see my stuff.
Since I updated my website about a month ago, I would say my website is definitely more so my portfolio, just because I struggle in some ways being consistent on Instagram with posts. I can do stories all day long because that's easy. That's what I'm doing in the moment.
Yeah.
Like, just hang out with me today and we're going to make some stuff. I'm going to tell you about some stuff. But making actual posts to me requires more thought than it should.
Yeah.
So I will plan content out. I'm trying to get better at like planning stuff out, like writing captions, like doing all that stuff ahead of time, and then like scheduling posts, which Instagram doesn't like you to do because they want you to be on the app and interacting and all that stuff when you post. But of course, for me, I'm like, well, if I don't do this, it's never going to happen because I run around doing 9 million different things all the time. So trying to get better at that. But honestly, Instagram sees like hardly anything that I do. And it's really kind of crazy when I think about it because I'm like, I feel like I'm on here telling you guys so many things. And then I look back through Lightroom, my camera roll, my life in general. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
And then I'll have people randomly tell me, they're like, I know what you're up to. I see you on Instagram. I'm like, that still does not tell you anything that I'm doing. Like, that is the most irrelevant statement I have ever heard in my life. That you like to pretend to act like you know me based on Instagram. Like, you know certain things.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know, like a tiny sliver of what goes on. And that is it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean, people feel like because they follow you on social media or they're friends with you on a Facebook or follow you on Twitter, whatever it is, they feel like, oh, I know you now. Like it's okay for me to talk to you any way I want because, I see what goes on in your life. And I think what was that? I don't know if it was a podcast I was listening to or what, but somebody was talking about how like people will come up to like celebrities and whatnot, just like talking to them like they know them. But it's like, you have to remember they're famous, not you. So everybody knows who they are. Nobody knows who you are if you don't do anything like very popular or whatever. So you can't just treat them like, y'all been friends just because you know who they are. Like there's still a boundary there.
Definitely. I mean, I feel like you can definitely get to know someone online. You can definitely get to know someone through Instagram. I just don't like when people assume that they know, like, every little thing about me. Like, I'll talk to friends from, the past or whatever, and they're like, oh, yeah, like, I know who you are still. And I'm like, no, you really don't. Yeah. Like, you might have been following me on Instagram for a year now, but that does not mean that you, like, really, truly, deeply know me. You know the things about me that I am sharing, that I am allowing you to know about me. That doesn't mean that you overall know exactly who I am as a person.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate that you have to explain that to people. Like, people feel entitled to, your life because you're like, hey, where's that content that, I heard you were in Chicago. Like, where's the videos? Where are the photos and stuff like that? Right. So it's kind of weird.
It is weird. It's weird. I mean, I've done that with other people too, right? Like, I see them on Instagram and like, then we become friends and like, we start hanging out in person and stuff. And I'm like, you're different than like how I thought you would be or like how you are online. And they're like, yeah, so are you. And I'm like, you're right. Like, cause I don't cuss on Instagram and I cuss in real life. And like, I don't want to, I mean, I'm not trying to like present any sort of front. I just don't cuss online. Like, I don't know. That's not something that I've ever done. So when like you meet me in person, like, you might be having a kind of experience like that right now where you're like, oh, I've known, like you said, like you've seen me on Instagram, like you know me from Instagram, and now we're sitting here talking, like I'm probably a little bit different than what you expected on some level. So it's very interesting to take things from online into real life, or even the other way around sometimes to be like, okay, I know you in person and like you like, yeah, no, like how you act online is not how you actually are.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really very interesting.
Rarely is that a positive thing going from in person to online. Is usually a negative connotation. And I think it's the opposite for from online to in person. I think it's usually positive because I
Yeah.
feel like
Online to in person kind of just like opens the door more. Like meeting someone
yeah,
online, you're like, cool, like I saw your profile. I saw like all these certain things about you. Like I know you love color. I know this about you. I know that about you. Okay, cool. Now we get to talking in real life and like, that was just the introduction.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
here's the rest of you. Whereas when you know someone in person and then you see them online, sometimes it's kind of like, okay, I know all of the things about you. I know that you do not have your shit together, like at all over here. Yet you're online, like going viral and stuff, and everyone thinks that like you're the shit. And I'm looking at you like, but you're really not, bro. Like I love you, but you really kind of don't have it together. Like you are is putting on a show online, and it's really, really crazy to see.
Yeah, and that's why, like, so something I started doing
Mm-hmm.
was to make sure that I don't give off that kind of perception. Was I've got a A7 III. That's Sony A7 III. That's my
Mm-hmm.
camera. Wonderful camera. Shoots great videos, great photos. But something that I started doing was posting only stuff on my phone. Because that way, people know I can post great content, like
Right.
quality, but I'm like, let me just use my phone. Because that shows people, number one, I'm doing stuff in the moment. Like I'm
Yep.
just on my phone. And then number two, it shows I don't care about my image. Like I don't care about making sure I've got top quality stuff. I just want to get
Right.
stuff out to y'all. So like, I like just talking on Instagram and just like giving people inspiration or giving them a good quote to hear or something like
Right.
that. So I just been doing it on my phone, just recording myself, putting on the front facing camera and doing that instead of, doing some top notch quality, video and having a nice backdrop. And all. I'm like, no, let me just do it on my phone.
Yeah, that's part of just being real online. There's from a business perspective, and I think it's kind of maybe true in real life in general, just for everyone. You want people to get to know you, to like you, and to trust you
Yeah.
online. So doing stuff like that, like just the real in the moment stuff, the hey, this is me. My hair is in a bun. I have not brushed my teeth yet today, but I just found something really cool and I want to show you guys real quick. Like that type of content is definitely just as relevant as the, like you said, super sharp, super planned out video that you shot on your camera.
Yeah.
It's all relevant. It's just such a balance to to have them both going at the same time, to be
Yeah.
like, this is really me and this is really what's happening. Also, here's the good stuff, the content that like you were really here for, I think. Or maybe you're here for both. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Everyone is different.
Yeah. So a couple strategies that I really like what you do, talking about strategies and how you post. You do the pay what you can, and then you've also done, was it the sunflower
Yep.
photo shoots? And I think you've done one more, like a certain specific type of thing.
Um
It might just be those two that I'm thinking of. But like, what made you think about those types of things? Those are good strategies.
Right. So, honestly, both of those just really stem from things that I love and that I'm passionate about. Sunflowers have had my heart since 2017 when I was in London, actually. I was on a study abroad trip with my college, and I went to the National Gallery in London, and I saw Van Gogh's sunflower painting in person, and I
Okay.
had literally the most sublime experience of my life. Like, you know how in movies when a certain scene happens, the main character is just like drawn into something and like all the noise fades from around them, like the camera zooms in on exactly what they have going on. Like that happened to me in real life. I was in the National Gallery. I was moving, through the paintings. How I move through museums is I'm going to look at every single painting,
Okay.
which is why it's going to take me like a whole last day in a museum. Like I forewarn people, I don't go to museums with people either. I've gone to a museum with I went with my friend Erica when I was in New York because the Met in New York, I could literally go to New York and spend an entire week up there and just go to the Met every single day
Is this the
to
Met
get
Gala?
through.
Like where they have those big
Yeah.
party? Okay.
Yeah, so it's the Metropolitan Museum of, I think it's of New York. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Metropolitan Museum of New York. It is massive. There is
Okay.
so much stuff in there. It is overwhelming in a good way.
Okay.
So anyway, that's the only museum that I've gone into with another person, and been like, like we're together, we're in this museum, we're moving through it together, like we're hanging out, we came to the museum together. Normally I go to museums by myself for the reason that I am going to take my sweet ass time and like no one else really is. Or I feel bad knowing that, like my friend that like does like art has been, sitting in this one room with me for 20 minutes. She's already looked at everything. She doesn't care. She's ready to move on. And I'm still like slowly making my way through. Trying to figure out where I was going with this story now. I just got very sidetracked. Museum, looking at things. Oh, sunflowers. We were circling back to the sunflower meetings. Okay, so I walked into the room that had Van Goghs in it. That was my first time seeing any Van Gogh pieces. I'd always wanted to. I was super excited. Everyone was huddled around this one painting, but I still took my time. Like I went around the room. I was like, I don't know what's going on over there yet, and I'm very intrigued. I want to know what everyone's gathered around, but I'm not gonna just go straight for that because I don't know, that'd be a disgrace. That'd be a dishonor to all the other pieces that are in the museum. Like, they have certain pieces in certain places. Like, it's very strategic how they lay out museums. So anyway, I walked around everything. I finally got over to that. I was in the crowd. Still didn't know what the hell I was supposed to be seeing. But, people kept, like, when there's a crowd around a painting, it just kind of keeps moving forward because everyone's going to see it for a second, take a picture of it, and then bail. Like, they're like, oh, cool, that's what that is. Cool, I'm done. It's a wrap, whatever. So all of a sudden, I was just moving up with the crowd. It's kind of like, what are we about to see? Like, there are people from all over the world speaking all different languages around me. I don't have anyone to talk to. I don't know what's going on. And then the people in front of me parted ways, and I was dead center with Van Gogh's Sunflowers. And all the noise faded. Everything disappeared. I was just like completely transformed. I was like, holy shit, I want to be a painter. Like that was that like super like deciding moment for me. I was like, I'm going to do some shit like this. This is insane to me. What is happening? I read the plaque. I don't know how long I was standing there before someone started tapping me on the shoulder. And they tapped me on the shoulder probably like 3 or 4 times and like said something, but I was so in the zone that I did not hear them. And then I finally like came out of it and they're like, excuse me, can we take a picture? Can you move? And I was like, oh. I was like, yeah, my bad. And then they did what everyone else does. They snapped the picture and they walked away. And I was kind of mad about it for a minute because I was like, I was having the most sublime moment and all you wanted to do was take a picture without my head in it. Like, really? Like, I hate this day and age. I was like, why are we all in here with cameras and shit? Like, why is that all we're doing? Like, you're just taking a picture and moving on. Like, that's not what you're supposed to do in here.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was like the deciding moment for me that sunflowers were insane. They're the most magical things ever. I came back home and the next year, when the sunflowers bloomed, I found myself in the sunflower fields for the first time. And I was like, this is my place. Like, this is it. This is amazing. So I knew from then on that, sunflowers are magical, that I wanted to do all types of photo shoots in them, that I wanted to get creative, have fun in them. So that's where the sunflower minis came from. Very specifically, the sunflower picture where I am topless in the sunflowers. That was just a random idea that I had one day, because sunflowers are very freeing to me. They're very beautiful. My sister and my mom came over to the sunflower fields with me, the ones that are at the Agri Center, and I don't know. It was like midday. It was a cloudy day. There was no one around. There was nothing happening. And I was just running through the sunflowers. I was just living my best life. And I was like, oh, this is so freeing. They're so beautiful. And then I was like, I have an idea. And so, my sister being my sister, I was like, hey, I'm going to take my shirt off and I'm going to pull the sunflowers over and you're going to take a picture. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And my mom was like, I'm not a part of this. And she like walked the other direction. I was like, all right, bye, Mom. And I was like, you good? You understand the objective? We don't want to see anything. Sunflowers are covering everything. Let's do this. So we did it, and I posted it online, and it kind of went viral. And it was very strange to me because I thought that it was just funny.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm free. Look at the sunflowers. And then, of course, everyone took it sexually. And I was like,
of course.
Yeah, I was like, I guess I should have seen that coming, but that was definitely not the intention behind this. But just how empowering and freeing I felt doing that. I was like, I wonder if other people want to do this and would do this with me. So this past year, I opened that up and had a couple of my friends come out and do it with me, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun. Everyone left feeling a little more free, a little more empowered. So those are definitely going to continue happening. And then the pay what you can photo shoots, I started that when the pandemic hit, actually. I was just launching my business officially, and, the world was shut down. But I still, felt like people, needed to get pictures made, wanted to get pictures made. Like the world was shut down, but life was still happening.
Yeah.
So, and, no one knew what was going on money-wise. Like everything was just all over the place. So I had the idea to give back to the community as I was launching my business and do pay what you can photo shoots. So that has been something that's been really fun the past couple years. I'm excited that it's happening again this year. I'm going to do it every year, forevermore.
Do you do it at a certain time or multiple times? How often do you do it?
So it's once a year. It's one day a year, and there are time slots.
Okay.
So last year I did it in June, I think. There's no like set month that it's going to happen. It's just whenever I have the free time, I'm like, cool, let's do this real quick. Memphis, we're going to run this again. So last year was in June. This year it's going to be April 7th. And this year is going to be different than the past 2 years because I have rented a space for them. So they're going to be studio sessions, but they're still very much so customizable to whatever people need. So, and I've enlisted 2 other photographers to help me as well so that we can give back even more. So instead of there just being 10 time slots because it's just me doing it, there's 30 time slots because there's 2 other photographers doing it as well. So they're going to be at the Emerge building in downtown Memphis on Thursday, April 7th. The time slots, they're 45-minute time slots, start like at the top of every hour. So 11, 12, 1, 2, all the way until 8 p.m. And each of the photographers are setting up a different little like installation, a little station. So we're going to have 2 that are full of flowers, and one that has some really cute chairs and is kind of more geared towards like branding or headshots or whatever. So it's going to be really, really fun. I'm really excited about it. Still have plenty of spots open for it. And everything is just fun.
That's pretty cool. I think there's something to be said about people like you who are trying to involve like a community, like getting other people involved in what you're doing, because that's something that I strive to do. Like when Ben was here yesterday, he was like, how can I help you and support you in your business? And I was like, you can use downstairs for photo shoots whenever you want. He was like, oh, okay, cool. But like, how can I help you? I was like, that's helping me. Because if you're bringing people into my building and they see my space and they see, what I'm doing, that helps me. That's advertisement right there.
Yeah, definitely.
That's something that I think a lot of people don't understand is how huge number one, your name is. And then number 2, like just the marketing in general.
Yes.
it's something that is really hard to describe to musicians because they're like, oh, I suck because I don't get this many plays on Spotify or nobody's buying my album. I'm just like, go to Walmart and walk up to a random person and be like, do you know me? That's going to tell you right there why your music isn't doing well, because people just know, like, the top mainstream musicians aren't as great as probably somebody who's been performing on Bill Street,
Right.
but people just know who that top mainstream artist is, and that's why they play their music.
Right.
So same thing for art. If you're a photographer, people probably aren't buying your photos or, like, trying to hire you to do their photo shoots. They just don't know who you are. It's not because you aren't good. They just
Right.
don't know who you are.
Exactly. You just got to keep putting yourself out there in any way that you can. So the pay what you can photo shoots is definitely one way that I kind of put myself out there. Bring in, like I said, I want to bring in as many people from the community as I can.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to keep expanding it because when I told these other two photographers, Michelle and Kristen, that like my idea and like what I wanted to do and that I was going to do it as pay what you can, they were like, pay what you can? That's a really smart idea. And I was like, it's like, yeah, I know it is. Because everyone wants good professional pictures and everyone is entitled to them. Like,
Yeah.
I want you to have the best pictures that you can possibly have. I want to capture this moment for you, and money shouldn't be a barrier.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm trying to make a living from it,
Yeah.
but so I can't do this, forevermore. This can't just be what my business motto is, but doing it, one day a year, to just help people get those pictures. Like, let's take pictures of your family. Let's get pictures of your kid.
Yeah.
Like, your birthday's coming up. Let's go ahead and do a birthday shoot for you. Like, do whatever we can to capture this moment, this point in time, this point in your life. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Money's not an issue to me. Money's not a barrier. Come hang out and let's get some pictures done. And then from that, I've had plenty of people that have, booked me again later on, or have, kind of saved up. Or I have a couple people that I know are waiting for the pay what you can stuff to come back around because they still can't quite afford it, which is fine by me. Like, I get it. I understand. And I'm cool with that. Like, if all you ever book me for is pay what you can for 3 years, like, you're going to get to a point where you can afford a full session.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you get to that point, you're going to be as excited as I am that you can actually do this now. Like, you're finally in a good, abundant financial place. And you're like, Erica, I've had all these ideas for years. And it's you. Like, you've always helped me. You've done this stuff for the past couple years. And that's the only way that I've gotten good pictures of my kids. And now we're good. Let's do it. Like, for every birthday, for every graduation, for every whatever, like, you're the one.
Yeah. And that's what you were talking about earlier, building that trust with your fan base, and they feel comfortable with you because you're willing to go the extra mile to make sure they get, what they want. I think that's a phenomenal idea, because people, as you said, like, they might not always have the ability to pay what it costs to actually get a set up photo shoot, get the right lighting, get the right facility, all the equipment that you have to bring. Like, they might not be able to afford that, but with the pay what you can, they're getting at least a taste of what it's like to have that kind of setup.
Exactly.
Something I did want to ask you is, like, when you do those things, how often does it turn into repeat clients, or is it just somebody who is waiting for that, pay what you can?
So far, I would say maybe about 50% of them have turned into repeat clients, which is really good. And like I said, the other couple, or maybe the other half, I know they're kind of waiting around for pay what you can to come back around. But like I said, that doesn't bother me at all, because I'm like, I get it.
You're still coming back.
Yeah, exactly. You're still coming back. Like, you still know me. You still love me. Like, you're still, you want to support me. You want to get your pictures taken again by me. And, you're just still in college. You're still on the struggle bus a little bit financially. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I get it. I have been there. It is not a big deal. come hang out anyway.
Yeah. Is it
So.
like a certain type of photo, like a certain setup, or do you just, you mix it up?
So this year there's going to be, like I said, the 3 separate setups, but it's still very much so customizable. Like if people don't want pictures by my little flower installation thing, that's fine. That's not a big deal. Like if you want a birthday shoot, bring some balloons and a cake. That's fine. We have plenty of space within the Emerge building, within the, like it's a whole venue. Like they do weddings here. Like I rent it out like a venue. Yeah, it's a venue. So there's plenty of room to do whatever anyone wants or needs done. So yeah, they can come and you can do literally whatever. I am down for whatever. The past couple years, it's been just at a specific location, and it's been the same thing where it's like, cool, we're here. This is the space. Families, couples, portraits, whatever. This is what we're doing here. So same type thing, just indoors this time instead of outdoors because, I don't know, just thought I'd switch it up a little bit.
What's your favorite thing to shoot? I know I had on Elias. He likes to shoot animals. He's like, animals is my thing. You might seen him as Creative Reptiles on Instagram. But what is your favorite thing to shoot? Is it people? Is it nature? Buildings? What do you like to do?
So I really like all of it. It definitely started out as nature. And nature still plays a huge, huge role in everything that I do. All of the colors of nature, sunsets, flowers. I'm so excited that flowers are blooming right now. I think I might go to the Dixon today and hang out with all the tulips for a little bit. Started out with nature and then progressed to night shots, like long exposures, like the cool pictures I take of the bridge that always go viral.
The lit up
stuff like
Memphis
that.
Bridge?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it's progressed to people, and I have actually really, really enjoyed working with people.
Okay.
I think people are a lot of fun. I think portraits might be my favorites. But I really don't know because it's all fun to me.
Yeah.
It's all fun.
And based off of how you're answering, I would assume you like outside portrait and like the sunflower thing instead of like in a studio where you just got light, and then, all right, stand still, photo, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely am a nature person. I love being outside. I definitely prefer natural lighting over studio lighting, but I'm trying to get better at studio lighting, and I don't hate it by any means. There's a lot that being in a controlled environment allows you, but at the same time,
it can be boring.
It can be boring. Yeah. And just being out in nature, out in the world in general, you never know what you're going to stumble upon when you're out taking pictures that way. So that offers a little bit more of an adventure than being in a studio space.
So we've talked about, what's going on in your head, but now let's talk about some physical stuff. Let's talk about your gear. What are you using?
I use a Canon 5D Mark IV and a Sigma Art 35 1.4 mostly.
Okay.
That's like my go-to camera setup at the moment. I want to invest in some more lenses. I want to go mirrorless at some point for sure.
Okay.
I've just, between like doing painting and photography, I have to kind of balance my funds between the two sometimes. Yeah. I'm like, oh, a new lens or some new paint. Yeah. I'm like,
Dude, brushes can get up there.
Brushes?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can. I actually, my favorite set of brushes is from London. Because I'm extra like that.
So, have you ever seen Why So Expensive? Or it's something like that. But it's on YouTube. And basically they explain to you why something is so expensive. And one of them was Rolls Royce. It was the car. Mm-hmm. It was just explaining why a Rolls Royce is so expensive. And they went to the place where they paint the Rolls Royce, and there's a guy who's got certain particular brushes. I think Rolls Royce is a British company.
Yeah.
But he's got these very specific brushes with very specific hairs that they use on the brush. And I can't remember if he was saying the price of the brushes, but he was like detailing the side of the car because it's got like a little very fine pinstripe on it. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly why that car is so expensive. You've got a guy who's got specific colors. Like I think you can create a color if you want, and he'll make it.
Probably.
And he's got, as I said, very specific brush, and he's like going
very
over
specific techniques. Very,
I was like, dear God.
yeah. There's definitely a reason why everything is expensive, why the prices are set the way that they're priced. And sometimes you just have to take a step back and really like think about that. Really go, okay, like why does this photo shoot cost $200? And it's like, well, if I sit here and tell you everything that I do in one single day to run this business, you would understand that $200 for that is honestly not shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's really not. If I tell you everything that I do in a given day to run the whole business, that barely compensates anything, to be honest.
Yeah. And that's why I usually like to tell artists, I'm like, look, so I was charging $200 per hour for music videos, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and just like move to like their budget for the video, because like with music videos, it could go way over what you expected, and it could also be shorter because sometimes the artist might have an idea that you're like, okay, yeah, I think I know what they want. And then like it ends up being like way shorter than what they think, or it could be way more extensive than they thought. So yeah, that's why I think I might just go into like, all right, I can
customize packages for everyone.
Yeah, I'm like, all right, I could do this for a blank amount of money. And then, they're like, all right, they either agree to it or they don't. And then if they don't, then, you'd be like, all right, if we take this out, and this out, then I can do it for this much. Because the whole per hour thing sometimes just doesn't work with photography and videography. Maybe photography just because, like, they're standing still. You just do something, you take a photo. But, like, with videos, there's so much going on that you have so many external factors.
Right.
So what do you do? Like, is it just, I think I could do it for this much. You work with a budget, or do you have like a set price that you do?
Right now I have set prices, but I still try to keep things flexible to work with people. Okay. It's kind of a balance between the two. I want to just have the set prices and just be like, nope, it's $200. If you can't afford it, not my problem.
Yeah.
But I'm just I'm too much of a helpful person. Yeah. I want to work with everyone that I can. I want to help you get whatever pictures you can. And if you don't quite have the budget for it, I don't want to just turn you away, you know? So it's kind of a fine balance of, this is the price, this is my value, this is like, and these are the reasons why, but also I feel you.
Yeah.
With maybe not being able to afford everything. So like, what can we work out? What can we compensate on? Or can we just do a payment plan? Like, can you afford the $200 over the course of 2 months instead of all at once? Like, I'm down for that. That works with me. You're not going to get the pictures until everything is paid in full, but, still willing to work with you and do whatever I can. So.
And I think more people are inclined to actually make the payment after it's been done. Like for videos, what I do is I agree, like I tell the people what I'm going to give them. And then I'm like, all right, I'm doing the video shoot. We're going to this place. This is what's going to happen. And I'm going to charge you this much. And then once they agree to it, then I shoot it. And they haven't paid a dime yet. And I shoot the whole video. And then I go home, I edit it. And then I send it to them like, hey, do you like it? If they like it, if they want to make some changes, whatever. And then I send them like a PayPal invoice.
That's brave.
It is. It's very. But I do it that way just because if I think that, just the agreement of, yep, this is what you're getting. So there's been times where I've done a video shoot and somebody wanted to like completely change it. And I'm just like, look, this is what we agreed to. So this is what I'm going to give you.
Do you send out contracts ahead of time at least?
Nope. Nope.
Nope, you don't do any of that. You just dive off in there and and make the stuff for people and just hope that they like you send it to them too ahead of time.
Yeah, because if they want changes,
That's
then
crazy.
I've got to make the changes. So
Have you ever had a situation where they get the content from you and then just stop responding and don't ever do anything?
I've never had it. It's gonna happen one day, for sure. It's gonna happen, but it's just never happened.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would be scared to do that. I'd be like,
I'm
nope,
sure.
they're just gonna never pay me. I'm never gonna hear from them. They have their pictures. They're done. It's a wrap. Not happening.
Now I think pictures are different because they probably didn't invest a lot in the picture, but like a video, it's a lot of their time. Like how long does a photo shoot usually last for you? Is it at least an hour, maybe?
It depends. I do mini sessions for 20 to 30 minutes and then weddings for 8 to 10 hours or whatever. So it definitely varies.
So videos minimum an hour, like at least. So if at a point, so let's say I had a 3-hour video, at that point, it's wasting their time if they don't, invest back and actually pay for the video and stuff like that. But
That's true.
I also think that it's going to ruin the relationship. So let's say I do a great video. They get it and they just don't contact me back, don't pay me and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I just say I can't work with you again. And that's how like credit works. Like you can get a credit card with a $6,000 limit on it, buy $6,000 worth of stuff and never pay it off. You can do that. You're free to do that. But you're going to destroy your credit and you can't buy anything else. So that's how I treat my business is you're more than welcome to book a $600 video and we shoot the whole thing. I send it to you and then you never talk to me again. But you're not going to get another video from me again until you pay off that video. So I don't know. That's my concept of of how I do it.
It's very interesting. That would make me very nervous. I require a deposit for everything just to lock people in. Just feel like that protects me, and I send contracts for everything too. So even the pay what you can stuff, I sent a contract for that for one of those sessions the other day. I'm like, there is still like. This is pay what you can. This is very fun. There's still a contract. And this year I'm requiring a $75 deposit just because like I rented the space and because in the past I've had people not show up. And I'm like, dang, there were other people that could have used this slot and you just didn't show up. So requiring some sort of a deposit is like, cool.
Is that your minimum basically?
Money. What, 75?
Yeah.
That's just for the pay what you can. For other sessions, for everything but weddings, I think I require a 50% deposit. But again, it really depends on what the person needs, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're going to book me for a 3-hour event and I'm going to charge you, I don't know, $600, like, you don't have to pay $300 the day that you book me. Like if the event is in 3 months and you want to do $200 like per month leading up to the event, that's cool. That's fine. As long as you put something down up front to lock you on my calendar and all of that, we're good to go.
Yeah.
So.
Do you feel like the price that you charge, do you feel like that is like your sweet spot, or do you feel like I might need to come back a little bit more, or do you feel like I think I'm ready to build it up, get it a little higher?
So I just updated prices I guess kind of last month when I launched my rebrand and everything. And since I did the whole rebrand, I think that the prices are definitely where they should be. I think they're completely justifiable. I think they're in line with everything. So yeah, I'm feeling good about them.
So how did that whole rebranding go? Like, I think I visited your website after you did that stuff, and did you change your Instagram name?
Yep.
You changed your Instagram name, and
I changed the Instagram name. I changed the whole business name. I updated. I redid my whole website. It was a lot. It was really good though. It was really necessary. I'm very happy with where everything is now. I feel like it's in a really good place. Give me another 2 months and I won't like any of it. because that's just how things have been progressing since I launched everything. It's like I feel great about something for a hot second, and then I'm like, no, I can do better. Like we can make this better. This isn't quite what it needs to be. Like scratch everything. Let's refresh this. The overall branding package that I did and everything is like it's there. That's solid. I feel good about that. That's gonna be there for years and years to come.
Good.
But like my website will end up getting redone again at some point.
Really? Why do you want to redo it again?
Well, right now I like it, but I don't know. Every now and then, I look at things and I'm like, this isn't who I am anymore. This isn't where I'm at anymore. Let me refresh things.
Yeah. I was about to say refresh. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's good right now. There's already a couple things that I know I need to tweak on it, to be honest. Every time I look at it, I'm like, I could fix that. I could change this little thing over here. I mean, just when I launched the Pay What You Can photo shoots, I went on there and I made a whole page just for that,
Nice.
so that people could, sign up through my website. So there's always something going on in the back end of the website. I look at the back end of it kind of frequently, just like I do Instagram or anything else. Just like, okay, what can I tweak? What can I make better? Always looking for ways to improve everything. So yeah, the website is solid for now,
Yeah.
but I'll eventually not like it anymore and redo it again.
Yeah. I think that's great for people to evaluate, where they're at, because if you aren't, then you're not going to notice when like stuff just looks old. Like,
Yeah.
I think when companies have that pressure from their consumers of, hey, change this because it's been like this for forever. Like Apple. So Apple, their iMac, I think had looked the same for like 8 years or maybe more than that. And people were like, hey, change the iMac. And I got the newer one right there.
Yeah.
But
They did change it.
yeah, it's completely different. And that thing is so light. Oh my
it?
God, it's so light. You could like lift it up like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the old one, it had the same look for like, as I said, like 8 years or more. People were like, Apple, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Like,
do something. Change it up a little bit. Give us something new.
yeah. And they do a pretty good job. I mean, they're constantly changing the iPhone, which we all know that they only make like small increment changes just so you'll buy a new one.
Yeah.
Because it would be dumb for them to like make the perfect iPhone. And then it's like, why would I need to buy a new one next year when the one I have has all the features?
Has everything except the camera on the next one. It's just a little bit better, which is relevant to certain people, but not most people.
Yeah. So I started being like all Apple in 2019. And I think I'm going to get a new phone maybe like every 3 years because that's when like there's a huge jump. I would say about 3 to 4 years is when it's like a considerable jump in technology.
Right. I feel you on that. I'm kind of in the same boat. My current iPhone is the XS, and I've had that for, I think, 3 years. I'm ready for an upgrade now, I think, because, they've come out with the wide angle on the iPhones. Now they have, like, the cinematic mode with the camera when taking videos and stuff, which is really good. I'm getting into videography, so things like that are relevant. So yeah, I think it's about time I upgrade. That just hasn't happened yet because I had to upgrade my computer. So I upgraded my computer in November, and before then, one part of the reason why things had been a little bit of a struggle for me with running my business when I launched it is because I launched my business on a late 2011 MacBook Pro.
Oh, wow.
That beautiful, beautiful, God bless that computer. I still have it. It's still running. I'm still doing stuff on it because I still have things on there that I need to do on it. Honestly, I need to take a bunch of things off of there, like important files and things that I haven't moved over yet. But yeah, I had to upgrade the computer first. So it's what I was saying earlier about like, balancing my funds between, the different areas. I'm like, I want a new camera lens, I needed a new computer.
Yeah,
Like, that had to happen. I reached a point, and this is what I was waiting for. I reached a point on my other computer where I could not do what I needed to do. Lightroom stopped syncing with Lightroom Mobile.
Oh, dang.
And I had, just finally, I mean, that computer is like 6 or 7 operating systems out of date.
Yeah.
But everything still worked on it. And I was like, I mean, it takes me like 9 million years to edit a session on here, to do anything on here. And I'm aware of it and it's pissing me off. But like, I'm gonna ride it out until like I have a really like very specific reason to upgrade. And I was also waiting too for the latest MacBooks to come out. Like, I knew probably like this time last year, I was like, this computer is getting on up there. Like, I'm finally like really starting to see that, like, oh my gosh, like I'm trying to run a business now on this thing, and it's like half-ass happening. Like, I really need to fix this. But Apple comes out with new products every September or whatever. So I was like, I mean, we're going to ride it out for a couple more months. And then when they launch their new computers, like, that's what I'm going to get. So that's what I ended up doing. But that other computer, it really, got to a point. When it stopped syncing with Lightroom Mobile, I had just edited like 4 sessions on my mom's iPad. And I essentially like lost all of those edits because they weren't then on my computer where I could export them to then deliver to the clients. I was like, I have them on mom's iPad and they're edited, and they're on my phone and they're edited, but I can't upload like the high res files and things like I need to do to deliver them to the client. So I was like, yeah, we've reached a point.
That's crazy.
I was like, we officially got to upgrade. Oh my gosh, I can't function anymore.
Yeah. So when you make the decision to jump and you're using the new equipment, like, is that something that ends up speeding up your process, or do you're just making it more efficient to do what you need to do?
Both. I think the new computer has definitely sped up my process. And it's definitely made things way more efficient. So yeah, it's been really good. I love my new computer. It's amazing. I'm sure you know that probably has the M1 chip in it. That M1 chip is on a different freaking level.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I am super happy. I'm glad that I waited as long as I did so that I could make sure that I got the M1 chip, because like.
And what are you running?
What do you mean?
Like what computer did you get?
Oh, I got the
Was it the Mac Mini?
No, it's the MacBook Pro. It's
MacBook Pro. Okay.
It's the latest one. I guess it's a 2021 MacBook Pro.
Okay.
Yeah. So it has the M1 Pro chip, I think.
Okay.
And it is.
Yeah.
It's on a different level.
Those things are nice. Yeah. I definitely think that people need to evaluate that in their whatever business that they're doing. If you are dealing with computer technology, like, it's worth it to just spend the extra money and then get something that is going to work. Like,
oh yeah, totally worth it. And for me, I've always been of the mindset of, like so many people, and my brother was even telling me this. He was like, just go ahead and like drop $1,000 and get like a 2018 version. Like, you'll be upgraded. And I was like, no, that's literally going to be a waste of my damn money. I don't want a 2018 MacBook Pro. That's already 3 years out of date, bro. Like,
yeah,
I'm not doing that. I'm literally going to waste $1,000 if I do that on getting like a refurbished 2018 version. Like, why would I ever do that? Yeah. My mindset with things like that is, if I'm going to drop the money on it, I'm going to drop the money on it. And I'm going to get the best thing that I can possibly get. I'm going to get the thing that I really want to get.
Yeah.
So I've never understood, well, I kind of understand why people will just, like, they need to upgrade, and so they'll just, spend a little bit of money now. But I'm like, in the long run, you wasted that money, because if I had gotten a 2018 version, give it 3 years, and that one would be out of date even further. Like, that would stop updating software as well. Getting the 2021 version, knowing that the 2011 version lasted me 10 years, I'm like, I'm good for another 10.
Yeah.
Like, period. I spent $2,500 on it or something like that. I think it was more than that with Apple Care and whatever else. But anyway, I'm like, that's that was a solid investment. When I
Yeah.
got my camera, that was a solid investment, spending that $2,500 on the body that I really, really wanted. Like, I didn't go a refurbished route. I didn't do any of that. Bought that shit straight from Canon. I was like, this is it. We're going to be good for a while. I could have spent $1,500 on it and gotten it from someone that's already had it for 3 years, but I would have wasted my money because it probably would have crapped out on me by now. So, yeah.
I get real nervous about buying used equipment. Like, so I bought this. I have two Sony A7 IIIs. I bought one from, I think, Amazon, and then the other one I actually did buy it off eBay, but I got it for a price that I thought was fair enough.
Right.
But those things are notorious for the shutter, like basically like crashing. Like, think of like a garage door, like hitting something and then like getting smashed.
Yeah.
That is what the shutter usually does on the A7 III. And so I was terrified to buy a used one, but I did it and it's been fine. Granted, I don't probably use both cameras like what most people who just do photography would use it as. So that's really the problem, is people who are constantly using their camera.
Right.
That's when they run into like a shutter issue. But I'm hardly ever using it, so it's not that big of a deal as far as like, mechanical issues.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's all about like spending the money that you can. Don't go in ridiculous debt.
Yeah, definitely. Don't go into debt doing anything. It's not going to be worth it if you can't actually afford it and pay it off. If you can afford it and you have the option to do a payment plan, I'm all for payment plans, depending on what they are. I try not to have, 9 million different payment plans going on at once, because then that shit gets overwhelming. But like I am doing a payment plan on the computer, and that's really good for me because it's like $230 a month or something, right? So I'm like, cool.
Use the Apple Card.
Yeah.
Dude, that thing is amazing.
It is. I love my Apple Card.
Apple Card is phenomenal.
It's great. Yeah, I got approved for that. I have good credit. I have a lot of lines of credit. I keep getting more of them for various reasons. I got a freaking it's like a Dodge credit card or something 2 weeks ago when one of my tires was flat, and the tire. So I knew it was flat when I went out to my car, but there's a gas station like a mile down the road from me, and I was like, cool, like I'm gonna, I was like, it's pretty flat, but we're gonna, drive with the flashers on down the road, and we're gonna put some air in it, and then we're gonna go straight to a dealership and get it looked at or whatever. Well, I got about half a mile down the road, and it started making like an extra funny noise, so I pulled over and looked at it, and the tire was like starting to shred, like we're starting to like fall apart, and I was like, cool, so we call a tow truck now. I was like, all right, we call mom, we call the dealership, because I have a foreign car, I have a Fiat. So with my car, my lovely car, I literally love my car, it's the best. Her name is Fiona the Fiat. Since it's foreign, I have to, there's weird sizes on everything. Like, it's an Italian car. Like, I have to order windshield wiper blades off of Amazon.
Dang.
Because, like, AutoZone, like, no one carries them. They're a weird size.
Yeah.
So anyway, so when that happened, I called my mom. First off, I called her to kind of be like, so I know I need to call the tow truck. And like, I could figure out how to do that through the State Farm app. Like, That's not exactly why I called you. I called you to see if you can come pick my ass up off the side of the road when I'm dealing with this, because I'm on the side of the road now. Like, I left my apartment. I'm half a mile from my apartment. I probably should have not even tried to venture out and just called the tow truck to the apartment. But it's fine. I didn't do that. And now I messed it up further. And, it is what it is. But she told me, she was like, go ahead and call the dealership, because you're going to have it towed to the dealership, and see if they have the tires, because they're a weird size. And I was like, that's smart. That's relevant. Yes. So I called the dealership, and they did not have the tires, but they got them. And anyway, I knew that I needed 2 tires, just based on there were 2 tires on my car that had been there since I got the car, which is fine. But I knew that they needed to be replaced soon. And like, that's something that I was already like, preparing for. I was like, probably the next time I take this car in for an oil change or something, we need to go ahead and get these new tires, get at least 2 of them, whatever. So I was like, cool. Now I officially need 1. We're going to go ahead and do 2. And then they were like, oh, if you buy 3, you get the 4th one for $1. And I was like, okay, whatever. I was like, is it, I don't know. I talked to them for a minute. I was like, does it really matter that much? Like, the tread on the tire is going to be different. They're going to be different brands of tires. Like, they're like, I mean, it might dry. They were like, I mean, it's going to dry better if you have, the whole set and blah, blah. And I was like, all right, screw it, run it. Let's just go ahead and get the full set, whatever. And then they told me that I could get a credit card and like put them on a payment plan or whatever. And I was like, I like that. I was like, that's fun. So I don't have to come off of it. It ended up being $900. I was like, cool. So I don't have to come off of $900 today. I can just get this credit card and do a payment plan. Beautiful. I like that even better. So yeah. So I did not go like into debt or anything with these tires with the payment plans. The payment plans are amazing and I love them. And having a good credit score is definitely important so that you can do things like that. Because that ended up, like, for a lot of people, that would have been like a complete crisis. Like, oh my gosh, I'm out $900 this weekend. But for me, I was like, I'm not out any money, and I'm about to get on a plane to Chicago, and my car has 4 new tires, and like, I'll get this credit card when I come back in the mail, and I'll deal with it then.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I had to explain to my wife about that kind of stuff. I'm like, look, credit cards are amazing if you use them correctly.
Yes, you have to use them correctly.
Yeah, I was like, I was actually watching some video, and some guy was talking about how the debit card is the worst invention for finances because it comes straight out of your account, and you get nothing for it.
That's true.
A credit card, it goes to a account, and you don't lose the money immediately. So if you need some time to build up money, you can. And then also, it builds your credit. It does all that for you. A debit card, we take your money and that's it.
Yeah, like that's what I was thinking about with the tires. I was like, cool, $900. I have, like, especially with doing the payment plans, I don't know exactly what they're broken down into because I got the card in the mail the other day, but I didn't activate it or figure out how to like set up the online account and stuff because I don't know. I looked at it and I was like, cool, future Erica problem. I'm going to deal with that in a couple of days. I was like, I know that payment's not due right this second because it's only been like 2 weeks. This card hasn't even reported on my credit file yet. We're good. They're not going to do anything. I'll deal with that later. But yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, this is great. Like, I did not just come off $900 right now. Like, we're good. We're fine. We're going to do payment plans later.
Yeah.
We're going to deal with it later. If I didn't have the $900 right this second, that's cool because I know that whatever the payment plan is going to be, it's 0 interest over 6 months. So if you break that down, it's like, what, $150 a month or whatever for $900? You make $150 a month easy extra to pay for that. Yeah. In a shoot, sell a painting, sell a couple prints. We're good. Move on with our lives.
Yeah.
So
going back to your gear, I'm interested. You said you use like a 35 mil, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what is her Sam? Shoot, I can't remember her Instagram names, but I had a girl on my podcast. Her name is Samantha, but I don't remember her Instagrams or stuff like that. But anyways, so she was talking about she likes a 24 for portraits, and I was like, interesting, because most people are using like 85 and above.
Yeah.
And you're using 35. So what do you like about that?
I like the crispness of the 35. That 35 1.4 is sharp as hell.
Yeah, that bokeh is nice.
Yes, it is. I like how wide it is, so that I can, take the full body shots really easily. Get up closer as well for the close-ups. I don't have an 85. I have a nifty 50, but honestly, I haven't used that since I got the 35. I got the 35 in December of 2020, and I have hardly used another lens since, to be honest, unless I rented something. And and have just played around with other things. Because like I said, I do want other glass. I
Yeah.
want to buy other lenses. I just don't know what else I want or need. An 85 is kind of like an obvious next step. I like zoom lenses, and I haven't had a zoom lens since I got the 5D. So I want to find one of those that I really like, but I haven't found one yet for what I want to use it for my cool bridge pictures, and just in general. My favorite lens probably, well, the 35 is definitely a favorite, but I really, really loved my 18 to 135. That was for my 70D.
Dang,
it's a crop
18 to
lens.
135.
Yes, it's a crop lens, and or it's for the crop sensor camera, so I can't use it. There are no adapters. There's no way for me to put it on the 5D, and it literally kills me. It's not the sharpest lens by any means, but I use that for so long. Like, I know how to use it. I know how to finesse it. I know how to do a lot of really cool, fun tricks with it. And I can't do them unless I'm using the 70D, which of course is of lesser quality than the 5D. But I still pull that thing out so that I can use that lens. I'm like, I'm forever going to have this camera so that I can use this one lens that I cannot use with anything else. And there aren't any lenses for the 5D that are comparable to that have that focal length, that are anywhere near that region of the focal length. So it's been kind of frustrating for me, and is part of the reason I haven't bought a zoom lens yet, because I'm like, none of them are the freaking 18 to 135 like I want them to be. Like, I don't understand why there's not an adapter for that lens. I wish they would make an adapter for it.
Yeah.
Because that's, like the 70Ds, I always tell people when they ask me, like, what's a good, camera to start out with, I'm like, that line. Like, they're up to a 90D right now. I'm like, that's solid. That's a mid-level camera. Don't do a Rebel. You're going to waste your money on that shit. Like, do the 70D, but then, like I said, I'm like, I feel like I'm setting you up for failure in some way, because you're going to fall in love with this lens potentially, or you're going to, that's the kit lens. That's what comes with that camera. So, like, that's what you're going to be using for a while. And then if you choose to upgrade it, you're going to be like me. We're going to be like, well, damn, now I can't use this lens anymore. This kind of sucks. This is the only lens I've been rocking with for the past 2 or 3 years, or however long it's been. So I miss that lens.
Yeah, I currently have, I have a 24 millimeter that's at 1.4, I think, for Sony. And then it's the Sony G Master. Nice. And then I've got 2 Sigma Art 24 to 70s 2.8s. Yeah. And I love those lenses. Like, that 24 to 70 is amazing for videos, photos, whatever. Yeah. But I do want to get either an 85 or Sony has that 70 to 200. And then
70 to 200s are amazing.
They're big. They're big.
They are
lens.
giant. They are heavy as hell. I love it though. Yeah. I rented one of those for the first time around this time last year, like spring last year. And was taking all types of pictures of flowers with that lens, and I was like, oh my God, I want it. Oh my God, I can only hold this thing for like 10 minutes at a time. It is killing me. It is crushing my hands, my whole body. Like, it's insane.
If you are watching the podcast, the 70 to 200 is probably about as big as my forearm. Like, it's a big lens.
It's massive, and it is heavy as hell.
Yeah. I think that, once you figure out like what certain lenses do, and then you figure out like what you do, that's when you can like, focus in on like what equipment you really need. Because some people, what they end up doing is just buying stuff that they don't even need and they don't use it, and then so it's just sitting around.
Exactly.
And then other people are like, well, I can get by with just this or that. And it's like, yeah, you can, but you're also diminishing what your creativity and what you could be doing. So
right, there are so many different things you can get, so many different routes to take. I know for me, sometimes that stuff gets overwhelming, and I'm just kind of like, I can rock with the 35. That works for me right now. I'm just going to stick with that because I don't really know what else is out there. But I love renting lenses and playing around with stuff every now and then. Just to go, okay, what else is out there? What else could I do?
Yeah.
Because definitely, you want to keep growing. You don't want to just stay exactly where you're at with anything, with your gear, with your life, with what you're creating. You want to keep evolving and moving forward.
Yeah.
Or most people do anyway. Some people get really comfortable doing one thing. They're like, nope, I'm fine. I'll just stay here. I'll just be a wedding photographer with my 24 to 70.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got going for me.
Yeah. So what are some things that you're working on? I know you said in April that you've got your pay-as-you-go, or pay what you can.
Yeah.
What are some other things that you're working on?
There are so many things. There are always so many things going on with me. I'm working on figuring out, pinpointing my style with photography and with videography.
You got like presets in Lightroom or anything like that?
Yes, kind of what I've been struggling with this for a while because it takes a while to find your style. Like I know certain things about me and about, my pictures. Like if you look at my page, shit is colorful as hell. It's vibrant. It is. Like that's always going to be there. That's never going to go away. But I feel like every time, and I don't hate this by any means, but I feel like there needs to be some consistency. That's my word for 2022 is consistency.
Okay.
My word for 2021 was grace. And I gave myself a lot of grace with that computer and with how inefficient in a lot of ways things were run.
Yeah.
So consistency is the word for this year. So I'm trying to figure out exactly like what my style is with everything, how to shoot consistently, like not just like, oh, I want to take pictures every single week. It's like, okay, how to make the settings like line up correctly. Cause I keep looking at things and I keep talking to people, and they kind of keep telling me the same little things, right? They're like, you have to shoot in the same way. Like every time you shoot, like not the same poses, but just like, keeping the settings like generally kind of the same, or keeping not like keeping the settings the same, like not like just strictly being like iOS is or ISO is 200, like that's it, like don't change that. Like no, you can change that, but if you're going to change that for certain things, like you have to, you want to come out of a shoot with everything in the camera roll like generally looking the same. You don't want to have some stuff that's super blown out and some that's dark and some that's this way and some that's that way, which I don't necessarily do. But I understand what they're saying though with keeping, like everything consistent when you're shooting and then also consistent when you're editing. And I don't necessarily do that. Okay. I kind of feel like I show up to everything and like I know what I'm doing. I know how to work the camera. I know how to edit pictures. But there are just so many different ways that you can do everything.
Yeah.
And I get kind of lost in that. I get lost in I can edit the picture this way and this way and this way. Which one's the best? Which one do I like the most? And then I'm sitting there like, I don't know, because I like them all for different reasons.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to really nail that down. So I'm watching videos on YouTube. I am playing with editing, going back and editing old sessions again. I'm figuring out, just overall like what I want everything to look like so that I can present a more, solid portfolio to people. Like, if you were to book me now for a photo shoot, that you're going to get colorful pictures. They're going to be vibrant. They're going to be fun. Like, certain things about them. But, when you look at my Instagram page, because I don't just do photography, you're not just going to see picture after picture after picture of couples and all this stuff that, are all edited the same. But I feel like if you go down my page, like if you're really paying attention, like you can see the subtle differences and go, oh, that one's more light and kind of airy, and that one's almost like a little bit more vintagey. Like the colors are different between that one, and that one is like just really bright and vibrant, and so I'm trying to pinpoint that a little bit more, get my style more consistent, more defined, more get a vision on that, because I'm kind of, I've had fun playing around with everything. I'm kind of tired of playing around with everything though, because I drive myself crazy when I do that. And that's something that I've done since I started doing photography like 8 years ago. Like I have always taken one picture and edited it like 9 different ways, and then just sat there and looked at everything and been like, well, I don't know, man, they're all cool. Should I just, post this one picture in these 9 different edits? I mean, I might as well, because I don't know which one I like the best.
Well, with the feature of like Instagram, you can scroll through them and see the different ones, or Facebook, they've got like the collage of stuff, and so your thing might be like, hey, everybody, which one looks better? You can give them details on like what you were thinking with the different edits and stuff like that. And that gives your post like an interaction type feel to it. So.
Yeah, that might be something that needs to happen sooner rather than later. So we'll see. I might end up doing that. But yeah, I'm working on that, working on the consistency. I'm working on, I feel like overall I'm just working on my style with everything right now. Like I said, I know certain things about it, but things could be better. Things could be more consistent. I could have more clarity on everything. So that goes for photography, videography, painting, just everything across the board. Just got to get more consistent with it all. And I also have plenty of ideas for new things that I want to do and try. I want to, and I am going to add film photography back into things that I do, back into my offerings. I really, really, really want to do that. I really want to get back in a dark room. So I'm about to figure out who the heck around Memphis or Nashville I can go back up to. Well, maybe go back up to my college. I went to Belmont in Nashville for college, and they have a dark room. So I need to email like the head of the art department and see if they would let a good alumni come back and use the dark room again for some stuff. See what else. I want to start my own podcast, actually.
Really? Okay.
Yes, I have ideas for that. So that might be happening sooner rather than later. But we'll see, because I've already feel like I have enough on my plate, and I keep wanting to add more things on, which isn't a bad thing, but I need to get the first couple things like really, really solid first before I dive off into these other projects. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Just gotta get everything more consistent.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let everybody have all your info, how they can reach you, and give them everything.
Yeah. So my name is Erica Haskett. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, all social medias at Erica Haskett Studio. I'm based in Memphis. I'll travel anywhere that you guys want me to travel. I do painting, photography, and videography. My website is just my name. It's ericahaskett.com. I think that's everything. Do I need to tell them anything else?
You got your April 7th?
Yes, April 7th. We're doing pay what you can photo shoots. You can sign up on my website, or you can find me online, send me a DM, and I will send you the link to get everything set up.
Yeah, I've been really bad about releasing these. Like, it's been horrible. It's completely on me. I usually try to do one a week, but I recently started paying my wife to book podcasts. And I was like, hey, I'm going to pay you, but you have to book me a bunch of podcasts. And she did. And
then you've fallen behind on posting them.
That was the funny part. Like, I wasn't used to doing this many. So now I've got I probably have over 20 podcasts that I still need to release.
Right.
And as I said, I was doing one a week, releasing one a week. So that would give me 20 weeks that I could just release podcasts and not do one. So I think I'm going to, I might bump this one up just because you've got the April event. I messed up on Dominic. I can't think of his last name. Middleton. He does he's big into comics, and he was actually featured on the front of a Marvel comic.
What?
Yeah. He had a friend, I think, that lived in New York or something, and he was like, hey, can I
crazy.
draw you as a superhero? He's like, yeah, sure. And so he like drew him as like a certain superhero, like I guess it was like Captain Marvel or something like that. I can't remember. Excuse me if I think Captain Marvel was supposed to be like a female. Then it was a male and then a female or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he ended up doing that, and then his friend was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, you're on the cover of this issue." He was like, "What?" So I messed up because I did the podcast with him a while back, and then I think he already came out, and we talked about it on the podcast. So,
Right.
But yeah, I need to start just go ahead and dumping these, like putting them out for everybody. So, but
Easier said than done.
yes.
With everything. It's so easy to create stuff and then completely forget to share it with anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, all right. It's great having you on. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
and,
thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.